Hunter, welcome to the cave.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I like the vibes. We both have our own little aesthetic, and I'm a fan.
Yours is better looking though.
Oh, well, I don't know. I think that's subjective. I think yours is pretty dope.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I've been looking forward to this interview for a few days now. Listeners and viewers that are going to tune in YouTube or audio podcast platform, they can see you as JJ Parker on All American. It's got to be an exciting time for you, man, for that show.
It really, really is. It's almost surreal. I grew up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is I grew up on a farm, so it was kind of a small town. So to come out here and be winning state championships right and left for the Beverly Hills High, it's so surreal. But I did grow up playing sports. Football is one of them. So to get to do it now on television is just so cool. It's so cool.
You mentioned you grew up in Tennessee, like, and you're playing sports. Like, how did that whole acting thing start for you? Like, what made you get into it?
Yeah, great question. So I was always in really good shape, and I trained really hard for every sport. I did baseball, tennis, track. I wrestled, which is just a whole nother beast. And I played football. So I was always playing sports. I was always training for them. So I was in really good shape. And I went to the University of Alabama, walked on to play baseball. And while I was there, I would post on social media, like pictures of me, like working out and flexing, like trying to, show off my muscles. And I guess the right person saw it at MTV, and it led me to getting cast as a lacrosse player on Teen Wolf, which was a show at the time on MTV. And I went to Atlanta to shoot that show. And I was just like, wow, because I was studying in the classroom, staying up late Thursday nights to go to lab and, just trying to figure it all out. And then I go to Atlanta, I'm on at that time, a hit show. And I'm just like, this is what I want to do. So I dropped out and I moved to Atlanta and just started doing every workshop and class that I could. And perhaps in retrospect, one could say, like, I bit off more than I could chew, because I thought that everything would just be as easy as my first casting. And, that wasn't the case. So after many years of struggling and grinding and trying to figure it out, there's a lot of luck involved. I think in life, not just in my industry, but there's just things got to go your way. And it's right place, right time. You still got to be the right person. And that is within our control. But yeah, some of it isn't. So you just hold on for the ride and try and show up every day. And yeah, I just feel super fortunate to have landed this role as JJ Parker, which just kind of fit me to a T. And it was just perfect timing all the way around.
When you said you you dropped out of everything and you pretty much went for it, was there ever like a backup plan? Okay, I want to give myself a year or 2, 3 years, and maybe I'll go back to school, or I'll do both at the same time.
Yeah, great question. So I moved to Atlanta and auditioned a bit, but ended up moving back to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Did go back to school at a place called Chattanooga Community College, got back in the pre-dental program. And it wasn't a few months later, I landed a role on a movie called 42, which starred the late, great Chadwick Boseman and Harrison Ford. And it seemed like everything I was doing just ultimately led me back into this world of acting. So yeah, I went to the University of Alabama, moved to Atlanta, worked on Teen Wolf, moved back to Chattanooga. Fortunately, some of 42 shot in Chattanooga, but from that, I said, I got to move out to LA and I got to try this thing for real. I don't really think there was a plan B. I think I was kind of so young and naive at the time, where I just thought I could just work hard enough and get there. And like I said, while you do have to work hard to get places in life, there's so many things that are just outside of your control. But no, there never really was a plan B. I just figured I would keep moving forward and things would fall into place as they were meant to.
Yeah. Would you talk to because you've been doing this now for a few years now, when you talk to the young people that are trying to break into the industry and you tell them your story and what you did, what kind of advice do you also give them?
Yeah, I always say one thing is everything. And, when I was growing up, the first 18, 19, 20 years of my life, I didn't even consider acting. But I showed up and I worked my butt off every single day, no matter what I was doing. If I was raking the field after a baseball game, or if I was, picking up the pylons after a football game, I really just tried to show up. And I felt that if I did that, that respect would be put on my name and the right people would eventually see it. But ultimately, I would become the right man for said stage, regardless of how big or small. So my path currently has me in the field of acting. I don't know where it ultimately leads, but my advice would honestly just be, you got to work hard. You got to believe in yourself. You got to dream big. And these last two are so important. You got to love others. So important. And this last one might be the most important. You got to love yourself. And I know it sounds cheesy, but I always say work hard, dream big, love others, and love yourself. And I think if you do that, especially that last one, you will show up every day. You will dream big, because when you love yourself, you want the best for yourself, right? And I just think it's so important that that we do that for ourselves. And then the love others, that's really where the deep motivation comes from, because some days you might not feel like it. And emotionally, we may justify, oh, I'm tired today. But when it's not about you, when it's about your family or something bigger, you find motivation that you yourself didn't really have. There's levels to it. So that's why I always ground my motivation, my drive in external things. I seek affirmations from my actions, not my acknowledgement. So the affirmation comes from within and my work ethic, my own two hands. What am I doing with my time? But the prize really is, or the motivation, I should say, and the inspiration really stems from those who believe in me, those who want to see me succeed, those who want to see me fail. There's no shortage of people who love you and perhaps don't yet. Right. So I think that's where the real motivation can lie. And again, it doesn't matter how you feel that day. You can kind of set emotions aside and just focus on executing. And that's a game changer.
For JJ Parker, this is one of your biggest roles right now. Like, how many years were you in LA grinding away before you hit this role?
Oh man, 6.
Wow.
6. So I've been out here 9 now. Okay. But yeah, it was right at 6 years, 5-6 years of just countless auditions, a lot of background work. I never had a real job out here. My dad said, if you're gonna just work a regular job, you might as well do that here. It's a lot cheaper. And I said, okay, Dad, you're right. So I'm only gonna make money from acting. And I just really grinded the background work out here, which fortunately there's always something shooting. There's always a set to be on. So if you can just, try and find ways to do that. So that was the sole basis of my income. Since I've been out here, the only way I've ever made money is through acting. And so I just kind of put that pressure on myself, and I just said, you know what, Dad's right. I'm just going to do it with acting. And if I can't do it with acting, then maybe I need to figure something else out. But fortunately, I didn't have to.
Right. So now did you originally go in for JJ, or was it a different character at first?
Yeah. Fortunately, I did. That's a great question, actually, because a lot of people do go in for different roles, and there's kind of that mix and match process. But no, I went in for JJ. Only had one audition, and then a few days later, they called and they said, "Hey, you booked it." So it's always good to get those calls. I haven't gotten a call like that in a while. We've been rocking and rolling on this ride for, goodness gracious, almost 4 years now. So to have that kind of stability out here in LA is almost unheard of. So I'm super duper grateful.
Congrats, by the way, because you got up to series regular. At first, you had the recurring for the first few seasons.
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, I've always tried to go back to seek affirmations from your actions, not your acknowledgments, just because, again, some things are outside of your control. It doesn't mean that I suddenly became a better actor. But it is nice to get those trophies sometimes, and those titles sometimes. They do matter, and they are important, and they are so meaningful. But if we just always waited on, being the Super Bowl champion to work as hard as it takes to be a Super Bowl champion, we may never get there. We may never bridge that gap. So just showing up, working hard every day. It's great when it's appreciated. And again, you can get some acknowledgement in that sense. So that's been again, I talk to my team a lot, and I say, now it's time to really double down. So I think the higher you get in life, or the more you accomplish, or even the bigger your goals and dreams are, you have to be real with yourself, and you have to know that new levels in life require new levels of you. And if you want more, you can have it, but you're going to have to work for it and earn it. And when you do, like I feel like I did, 3 years of really trying to bring it, and then on that 4th year getting that SR title, it means so much more. It's like when something's given to you, or when you work really hard for something. When you work for something, it means so much more. So I'm super grateful that it all worked out the way it did.
And it makes you feel good too. After all
Yeah.
that grinding away, it just
Yeah. It's there's always another mountain to summit, or at least another mountain to climb. I think that's where the joy in life is the journey, not necessarily the reward. But yeah, again, I just feel like it's just another step, a little notch in the belt of ultimately where we're headed. So it was nice.
When you read the description of JJ, did you have that thought also, this is me, I could play this character because of your background and everything?
I did, and I tell you what, I was wrong. So I went into it, and I think we all, or at least, I can speak for myself, I was always wanted to be the cool kid, wanted to be Mr. Popular, wanted to be that guy, and I brought that into the role of JJ Parker, and it didn't fit. So it took me a season or two to find JJ Parker, because he is cool and he is badass, but it's in a different way. And he does it through this blind confidence, where he just can say anything, and it makes sense coming out of his mouth. As crazy and outlandish as it is, you just believe him. And so when I initially, brought Hunter into the role, I was acting and trying to find that. But fortunately, with the success of the show and the support from the fans, we've been able to make more seasons, and it allowed me to kind of find a deeper level of JJ. And again, I think what makes JJ is this confidence that it's almost like in every room he just owns it. And it's so fun to play, because me personally, I'm very introverted, especially compared to JJ. So it's been fun to push myself in those ways.
Have you had a chance to put any input in the character also, with when you're talking to the director and the writers?
Yeah, actually, the directors are phenomenal, and the writers are so in tune to us as actors, as people, and they kind of have changed their writing style as the seasons have gone on, because now these characters and the people that play them have merged much closer than ever. So I see a lot of things written in the script that are much more similar to me off screen. So it's really cool that the writers kind of do that for us, and it makes it much easier for us to show up and almost be that character, opposed to have to act as that character.
How do you describe that big bond between you and the Beverly boys, pretty much?
Oh my gosh, it's so tight. And I think because when we all booked this thing a few years ago, no one knew who we were. We didn't even know if we were going to have a show. And we were out there middle of summer with football pads on, introducing ourselves. And again, it's just that journey from where we started to where we are now. None of us even dreamed that the show would catch fire the way it did, and our lives would be changed forever. So we have a bond that is so much deeper than just castmates. We're truly, genuinely rooting for each other, and it's deep, man. I feel like we're all gonna be friends, for our lifetimes, truly.
A few weeks ago, we saw a spinoff, Homecoming. What are the chances we see JJ on there? Do you hope we see you on that?
I'm definitely not opposed to it. I think storyline wise, it is a spinoff, but it's a very different direction. And I think JJ's fine, just continuing to stomp around Beverly Hills. So I don't foresee myself going over there, but I would in a heartbeat. But I don't think storylines it would make much sense.
I was actually told to ask you, if you could have a JJ Parker spinoff, what would you like to see?
Oh my gosh. I was talking to Tay Diggs about this. It'd be great if JJ went to like police academy,
Okay.
became a police officer, and somehow Tay found himself as like my like deputy or lieutenant, or like who was training me. And Tay and I just did ride-alongs every episode, discovering different things in LA. It would be hilarious because he's just a master at work. He's so funny. His ability to improv is just so rich. And any scene I have with him is just, it's like a master class. Yeah, that'd be hilarious spinoff.
Now the newest, also like for your show, it just premiered about a month and a half ago, I believe, right? What are you, when the fans are tuning in, like, what are you hoping they expect from this season, watching this season of it?
Yeah, I hope they go into it rooting for someone. I think when you are pulling for a sports team, it's more fun to watch the game.
Right.
So I think at this point, everyone perhaps has their favorites, but there are new characters and there are new storylines and there are new arcs. So I just hope that they're invested. And again, if perhaps it's just used as entertainment, love that. But there's so much information packed in. And I think information is empowering. So I hope when they watch the show, they also ask themselves questions about their own personal life and learn. I think, life is a great teacher if you're open-minded enough to view it as a big lesson. Again, I hope they watch the show and are entertained by it, but also leave a bit more empowered just from the information that they consume from it.
Now, what's next for you now? Like, do you have any other like projects that you're going to go work on that you could tell the viewers and listeners about?
Yeah, of course. So I actually had 2 films that I really wanted to be a part of. And unfortunately, the scheduling didn't work out alongside All American. Now that I am a series regular, you really are kind of locked in. However, professionally, you're locked in. Personally, I post on YouTube twice a week. I'm super passionate about that. A lot of it's vlogs, life lessons, training. I'm really big on working out and being healthy, not just physically, but like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that. I think it's connected. I stream on Twitch, which is so much fun. I stream weekly on there and I don't miss. I would say my name's attached, so is everything I got. So if I tell you something's happening at 4:15, I'm there. I just am a big stickler on being a person of your word. So those are like 2 other video form outlets that I just adore right now, because I get to be me. I get to show up as Hunter and be Hunter. When I go to work every day, I'm JJ. So it's really cool for me to have those personal outlets to connect with fans, to connect with other human beings. I don't even like using the term fans, and create those friendships and relationships that are so much bigger, that will outlive the show, because while this show's hot and popping right now, soon, just like all things, it'll come to an end and I'll go to another project. So I really want people to get to know Hunter more than just JJ, but I want it to be earned. And I think the way I can earn that is showing up for people every day and being someone who practices what I preach. It's one thing for me to say, work hard and dream big. It's another for me to say, check my resume. I've done it. And you can too. So that's what I try to stand for, and that's what I try and do.
Yeah. So you're doing all these outlets and everything. How about a podcast someday?
I mean, I'm on one right now, baby. Maybe, it's hard because, again, everything you do requires immense scheduling. Yeah. And so kudos to you, because, you're having different guests on and different subject matter. You have to do a lot of research on who you're interviewing. So kudos to you, because podcasts it's not just press record and we get a good show. It's a lot of work, brother. So respect and kudos to you for putting it in.
Thank you. Lastly, Hunter, how can you mentioned all those social medias? How can the listeners and viewers find you?
Yeah, YouTube is Hunter Clowdus. Twitch is King Clowdus, King Clowdus. And again, the community over there is just, they're so good. We welcome everyone with open arms. So definitely, I encourage anyone listening to check out Twitch. It's all of these things are totally free to you, but I think the knowledge and the entertainment, the information, the empowerment that you'll get is just like, dare I say, life-changing. I'm super proud. I'm super proud of the work I'm doing over there. But yeah, Hunter Clowdus on everything with the exception of Twitch, which is King Clowdus.
All right, Hunter, man, this was great. Thanks for coming on. Let's get you back on. We'll talk about more projects.
Let's do it, baby. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.